Shalom, shalom, my brothers and my sisters. Grand rising to you today. And I am so happy to be able to come to you on this Wednesday afternoon with some information that I want you to just ponder and think about. And that is basically what we want to do here at the Black News Network. We want to bring you this information. We want to give you that opportunity to look at it, digest it, research it, and come back and tell us what you think about the show. Today's show is about we have never been free. And many of us want to get that misconstrued with the way we live, we think it's freedom. So before we go further, I have another definition for you. I did a few minutes ago, I gave the definition of freedom. Now I want to give you the definition of community. Community is a neighborhood, a vicinity, or locality of society or group of people with similar rights or interests. Joint ownership, possessions, or participation. The husband and wife considered as a single entity. If property is owned by husband and wife as their community property, the owner is sometimes said to be the community. Now, I like to reference whatever I talk about. So this is the book you should get. If you don't have this book, I highly recommend you get a Black's Law Dictionary because the words in this book tell the story. If there's a word in this book and it's used in the court of law or anywhere else, you will find it in this dictionary. And when it's a Black's Law Dictionary, that's exactly what it is. It's based on how lawyers and attorneys can write a paper without having to question what a particular word means, because the document itself has to be or originated from the Black's Law Dictionary. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting the news from the desk of the emissary. I am Brother War Smith-Bey, and I will give you what I know from a Black point of view. We don't own the rights to the music, but we do own the right to what we say. So why are we not free? We've never been. But before I go any further, I want to recognize the Can Fishing Club. The founder and CEO, Mr. Kenneth Mills, is sponsoring this show today. So I want to thank Mr. Kenneth Mills for being a sponsor of this Wednesday show. So thank you so much, Ken. We have never been free. We've had the illusion of freedom. And the illusion is just what it is. It's almost like trickery. If you're doing a magic show, you can be an illusionist and you can create different things that look like there's something else, but they're not exactly what they say they are. So that is one of the biggest problems with this situation as Black Americans living in this country. Now, first of all, I want to categorize Black Americans. I want to categorize how we are separate from the entire Black population in this country. We're not the same. That's a big, big, big deal, because a person coming here from Africa is considered an immigrant. If he's Black or she's Black, that is a Black immigrant. An immigrant gets a better benefit of the United States of America than a native born legacy individual. We are the legacy people because we are here, we're here before anybody. Even Abraham Lincoln said it. There are 10 million people of dark complexion west of the Appalachian Mountains. What does that mean? We were already here. Looking into the history in the 14th century, Moors were here in this country, but they were beat by the Spaniards, but they didn't go away. They stayed here. We are not free, and we've never been free. The Emancipation Proclamation gave us the illusion of freedom, and it gave us the right of freedom. We were able to leave the plantation only after we were liberated by that slave owner. Just because the Emancipation Proclamation became law, that did not authorize us to just pick up our bag and walk like we wanted to, because technically we were not free just because of the Emancipation Proclamation. You know, we don't want to think things out, which is the problem with how we go through life here in America. We do not think things out. Now, all we want to know is that the Emancipation Proclamation gave us freedom, but it is so much bigger than that. It is extremely bigger than that. It is so many details and so many tentacles to it that it doesn't make sense for us to just be focused on the Emancipation Proclamation, thinking that freed us when you can't just walk off of that plantation. If you walked off that plantation, they could have probably killed you right out at the gate. So you had to wait until your slave master liberated you from that slave in order to walk out as a freeman. Now, what does that mean? And why would they liberate you anyway when you're there making revenue for them? And they're not going to let you go when you're making money for them. Why would they put you out, let you go? Well, that was a reason for that. They liberated black people off the plantation because President Lincoln promised up to $10 per liberated slave. Now, $10 was a lot of money back then. So if a slave owner liberated these people, these black people, then the federal government would reimburse them $10 per person liberated. So the owners of the people said, hell yeah, well, we can let them go and then we can hire them back. And then they can work for us that way. So they let everybody go. Many of the owners let people go, except for down in Galveston. It took another act of Congress for the slave owners down in Galveston, Texas, to release people from Galveston, from the out of slavery down in Galveston. That was a big deal there. The Texas people, the Texas black people, were in slavery 6 months longer than the rest of the country. By the way, that was an issue. So the federal government promised that $10 per slave, and then they come back in the 14th Amendment, the same amendment that says you're a citizen. They said, we're not going to honor a debt owed to anybody in this country. So in other words, they reneged on the $10 per liberated slave with the slave owners. So now you got a whole lot of pissed off people down in the southern states, the 11 Confederate states, to be honest with you. They were mad because the federal government failed to honor the debt that they said they would honor if you liberated the slaves. So now you got black people walking off the plantation. You got the slave owners not getting their money. Now something has to be done. So what do? They decide they're going to create the black codes. Now, and like I say, everything we do is superficial. We don't dig down into the dirt and the mud and get dirt in our mouths and nose, because it is so many little tentacles of detail to every single story. And nobody will get all the stories in one setting. It's just that much information that created the situation we have here in America. We are the people, the indigenous people from this country. And because we are those people, the originators of this country, the original people of this country, we don't get the recognition, nor do we get the freedoms that we think we do. The Black Code made it very sure that we were recaptured, basically. We were recaptured and brought back to the plantation as a prisoner. In other words, you were a prisoner even before this as a slave. But now, since the Emancipation Proclamation passed and you were liberated, they're going to bring you back because the federal government reneged on paying them. So they're going to bring you back in, but they're going to use every system they have to do it so they don't be in violation of federal law. So let's create this pocket of laws for just those people, just the black people, just them. Here comes the police force that is designed to capture black people and put them back in jail. Now, once you get in jail, they want to know what plantation you came from. So now they contact the plantation owner that, hey, we got your slave down here. What do you want to do? You can pay us this amount of money and you can have him. Okay, I'll be down there to get him. So now that same slave that was liberated, he was locked up for walking around or being out at past 7 o'clock or being in a group of more than 2 people or going to church with no white person present. You were locked up. And now you're going right back to the plantation that you were released from to work that plantation. Because the big deal is, or was, that there would be no one to harvest the crop or to take care, to nurture the crop up until harvest. So now all those people that were liberated ended up going to jail. Not all, but many ended up going to jail and going right back to the plantation they left from. And this created a situation that most people don't want to ignore, but I'm here to tell you what it was. And this is why we say we have never been free. This is why I say we have never been free. And if you really listen to what I'm saying today, you will understand why we have never been free. We haven't. So now you're back on the plantation. The plantation owner can beat you, can kill you. He don't have to clothe you, and he don't have to feed you because he don't own you right now. You're an employee. So as an employee, you don't get the same benefits you were getting when you belong to the plantation owner. Now you belong to the legal system versus the plantation owner system. If you remain on the plantation and work for that plantation owner, then you were given housing, you were given clothing, you were given all the things to keep you alive and keep you working. But if you came through the prison system, it shows that you were released and you took off, but now you got your back in the prison system. They're gonna send you right back to the plantation for so many extra years. You go back to that plantation owner ain't got to do but one thing, and that is work the shit out of you. Work you till you die. He does not have to feed you. He does not have to clothe you. He does not have to provide shelter for you, but he does some of those things at the most minimal level. He will work you to death. So if you came back to the plantation through the prison system, then you were worked to death on that plantation because you had no ownership, or the slave master had no ownership of you. He just leased you, and he can treat you like he wanted to, and he didn't have to spend any money on you if he didn't want to, because you didn't belong to him. You belong to the legal system. So back to that, you got one or two options. If you stayed there, you get treated better. If you came through the legal system, you got worked to death. That's what that term about. They're gonna work you to death. That's what, and then they're gonna hit you in the head with a hammer and be done at the Glen Dickey prison camp. Nowadays, as recently as 2021, you can drive down the highways down in Mississippi and Georgia and Alabama, and you will see that there are people working on the side of the roads, and they call them the chain gangs. Chain gangs are the exact same thing as leasing those people back to the plantation, because it is actually what it said it is. It is a chain gang. Every one of those prisoners are chained together, and they're expected to do big rocks in the little rocks, or dig ditches, or do some minuscule labor where everybody can do the same thing for 8 hours a day, and then they load you back up and take you back to the ranch or the prison. Chain gangs are still out there. It's a violation of human rights, and when you're down in the South and nobody cares, then nobody's doing anything about it. You know, there's too many Black lawyers out here and Black attorneys out here and Black professionals out here for us to still be suffering from some of the things that we do suffer from. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting every Wednesday at 6:30 and every Sunday at 3:30. I want to ask you to please like our Facebook page and to subscribe to us on our YouTube page. Your comments are welcome. Your assistance is welcome. And if you feel really good about it, you can cash app me down on the bottom for this show, on behalf of this show. It would be nice if you did. We ain't free. We've never been free, and we're still not free, but we want to live the illusion that we are free. First of all, we're not immigrants as Black descendants of slaves. But if you come from Haiti, you're an immigrant. If you come from Africa, you're an immigrant. If you come from Jamaica, you're an immigrant. If you come from Cuba, you're an immigrant. If you come from Italy, you are an immigrant. We are none of those people. We're none of those people. These people that I just mentioned left their community. They left their community and they came to the United States of America, and they built a new community here. In most of these people that I just mentioned, they have their own pockets of communities around the city. You got all your Indians accumulated in a particular area, and they function as a community. You got all the Chinese accumulated in a particular area, and they function as a community. You got all the Africans populated in a particular area, and they form their community based on their cultures, their beliefs and values that they had when they left their home country. They brought their values, they brought their community, they brought their language, they brought everything that they had at home here. They did. So we're the only ones that don't have that luxury. to be able to bring all this stuff here. We came here with it, but it was taken from us in a manner that's unacceptable to human beings. I mean, what type of human would do another human the way we were done? It's sad, but it's true. The immigrants get way more than the native people, us, Black Americans, descendants of slaves. We don't have any manufacturing companies. I was doing a lot of research trying to find Black manufacturing companies. And I mean, anything besides some hair products, that's basically all I'm running into is hair products. Nothing really more than that. Now, some of these companies have hired Black people to be the CEO to represent their companies. Even McDonald's did it. They hired a Black CEO. Lowe's hired a Black CEO. And there's other countries. There are only 8 Black CEOs in the country in 2024. 8. That is 1.6% of all CEOs. There are only 8 Black CEOs in America, which is 1.6% of all the CEOs in this country. That's pretty damn sad when there's over 1,000 different companies in this country, more than 1,000 companies. We don't have any manufacturing companies. Now, when it comes to us being entrepreneurs and opening businesses, we open thousands and thousands and thousands of businesses, but we open these businesses with little to no resources other than our own. We come with our own money, our own ideas, and we don't solicit the help that's available because we cannot trust the help. The help is not there to help you tell the truth. The help is there to figure out what you're trying to do and to let you do it to their ability, not to your ability, to their ability. So you may need $100,000 to clean up your shop and build it and put it to the next level where you want it, but they're only going to give you 40 to 60,000 just so you cannot complete your goal or complete your transition. In other words, they want you to operate off a shoestring budget when that's just not enough for you. It's not enough. I'm just using 40 to 60 as an example, but they're not going to give you what you actually need to run your company. So when that is the case, you have to be innovative, creative, and you got to cut corners. And if you are opening a business, I want to say this about this business. You got to pay comptroller tax, you got to pay city tax, you got to pay county tax, and you got to pay state tax. That's 4 different taxes. All these taxes demand your money, whether you're making money or not. When you pay county taxes, you're paying on every chair, every table, every faucet, every toilet. You're paying taxes on all that shit. So, and you're trying to be an upright business person. You're going down there and you telling them exactly what's happening here, what I got. So they're going to tax you based on what you got. And then you're going to have to pay the comptroller who wants to make a portion of what you make every month or every quarter. Then you got to pay the state who wants a portion of what you make every month. Then you got to pay the city for operating in that city and them giving you a certificate of occupancy and all the little stuff that the city does. You got to use the part of the streets to operate the business, so you pay them too. So here's where you draw the line as a business owner. They don't give a damn how much your overhead is. They don't give a damn how much your supply runs are and how often you have to replenish your supply runs. They don't give a damn about the employees you have to pay. But if you don't pay your employees, then you got the Texas Workforce Commission making you pay them. Shit like that. You got all these elements watching you, trying to figure out a way to make you fail in what you're doing. You got the fire department that may come in there and shut you down. You got the safety, the food inspectors may come in there and give you an F, so you got to close your restaurant. You got all these entities that tear your ass. So how do you get around paying all this money to these companies? This is a secret. So when I tell you this, don't tell nobody, because it'll get you in trouble. It will if you tell somebody. Every day you're in business to make money. Every single day. No matter how much you make or how little you make, your money is only worth 50% of what you make. So if you're making $1 a day, you only made 50 cents that day. If you're making $1,000 that day, you only made $500 that day. I hope you know how to read between the lines. But that is the only way you're gonna make it, because all these damn taxes will break your ass, and you will not have that business long. You'll be paying them more than you make it. You won't make shit. That's one way. The second way I'm gonna tell you. Every year, or you gotta file taxes on your business. You do it separate from your personal taxes. Do not file your business tax under your Social Security number. File your business under your EIN number. Separate. You know, they're going to encourage you, oh, just put it together. It doesn't matter. Do it separate. Because now, well, if you do it together, you're opening up your personal income and your personal life and your personal assets to be taken, because they're part of the business. Keep it separate. So when you file at the end of the year on your business, let's say your business made $300,000 this year or last year. You had $125,000 in overhead. When I say overhead, I mean rent, employees, insurance, stuff like that. You spent $125,000 on that. You spent another $75,000 on salary. So you had $200,000. Now you only got $100,000 left. Out of that $100,000 left, you spent another $30,000 on comptroller tax, state tax, county tax, and city tax. So your net income for that particular year is what? $70,000. So when you file that you lost $230,000 and you only made $70,000 for that year, then your loss is so much greater than your profit. That means you're going to get a hell of a lot of money coming back to you. For the first 5 years of your business, your loss should gradually decrease, but it should start out at approximately your first year. Your losses should be at least 2/3 of your gross. Whatever your gross is, 2/3 of that is overhead. You spent it on everything to operate the first year. You know, and this is the type of information you put inside your business plan to get approved. You have to do your first 5-year projection, and you have to keep a balance sheet. And many people don't realize a balance sheet is so simple. Every single month, you just, in a spreadsheet, you just put down what you made and you put down what you spent. Every month, you make that a regular meeting with your secretary or with whoever keep your books, and you put that amount down every single month. And at the end of the year, you have a balance sheet, because if you go applying for money, the first thing they want to see is your balance sheet. That's what they want to see. So if you don't have a balance sheet, you're going to end up creating one. But if you did it every single month, then you already got it, because that's how they want it, by month. By month. There are so many systems out there to help you track all this stuff. Let's say you are running a restaurant and every single day you sell 20 pork chop plates. So for a week, you know you got to get 140 pork chops. I'm just using that as an example. So at the end of the week, it's time for you to find out how many pork chop plates you sold, because the kitchen staff told you we're out of pork chops. But you look on your books on that system that keeps track of all the pork chop plates you sold, you only see 80 pork chop plates being sold, but you had enough pork chops for 140 plates. So what happened to that other 60 pork chops? There you go. So you have to put these systems in place where you can identify problems like that. You have to know. You put a bottle of Hennessy up on the shelf if you got a bar, and you know how many shots will come out of that Hennessy bottle. And then you look at your records and it shows, oh, I gave them 2 or 3 bottles and I only got 15, 20 shots. Where the hell is my Hennessy going? You know that you're short. Somebody's wasting your damn liquor. That's what's happening. So anyways, I'm telling you about business, but my real topic is we have never been free. I'm going to get back to the topic. We have never been free because I'm telling you, all these entities got their fingers and tentacles in you. It's like you're walking around with 1,000 ropes stuck to your ass and they're sucking your blood out of you, because every time you move, you got to pay something. You're paying for your damn gas to get to point A to point B. You can't go nowhere without gas. So you're not free to move, because you can't move without the right resources. We are not the manufacturers. And just to let you know, when I ask you who invented or who was the first people to take flight, you're going to say the Wright brothers. But technically, this is what happened. Charles F. Page, P-A-G-E. Charles F. Page in 1906 invented a plane, an airplane. Wright brothers hadn't even thought of it. Charles F. Page patented his airplane with the United States. So they were having a world fair, I think in St. Louis or somewhere, and he had to take his plane apart and put it on the train and ship it to the World Fair, where he was going to make his debut. They loaded that plane on that train and shipped it to wherever that place was. This is a black man, and I wanted to say that part for later. This is a black man, Charles F. Page. He invented flight, not the Wright brothers. So that package that Charles F. Page put on the train never made it to the World Fair. It never made it. They hijacked that train to keep him from getting that plane there so he can be the first one to fly. During the World Fair, the Wright brothers flew that plane, their plane, which was an exact replica of Mr. Page's plane. And because he was black in 1906, wasn't a damn thing he could do about it. And so thus goes the story. The Wright brothers are the first people to fly, which is a goddamn lie. Charles F. Page was. And they hijacked the damn train to keep him from getting his airplane to where it's supposed to be. And if you check the patent, you will see that his patent was granted way before the Wright brothers. But nobody wants to talk about that kind of shit. See, the devil's in the detail. All we want to know is that the Wright brothers were the first ones to fly, which is a lie. Where is our culture? In order to have the freedom we want. We have to have a culture and a community. Our people, our descendants of slaves, do not have a culture. Now, many of us want to call ourselves black, which I'm one of them. I call myself black, and sometimes I call myself African American. So if I can sit here and say I'm black, then why can't somebody over there say that I'm green, or I'm blue, or I'm yellow, or I'm purple? I'm a purple American. I'm an orange American. But no, we say we are black American, and we really think that that is so real. We're black American. I think that is so. That is not true. Don't believe it. Immigrants get all these benefits that we never will see, and we talk about reparations. How you gonna give us what you took from us? Give it. You gonna honor us with the gift of something 40 acres and a mule, but you stole all the shit from us to start with, and you're gonna give us our shit back. Leviticus 25:10 tells America that they supposed to have done this already, given our shit back. We have no commerce. We follow the commerce of what Mr. White Man does. I'm sorry to go here, but I got to go there. We only have entertainment. We only have hair. We do tons of money in hair products and hair. We do tons of money in haircuts at barbershops. We do tons of money for entertainment. And we do tons of money in sports. Those three things are the top three money makers for our people in the United States of America. But those are, I mean, it's a million other different things happening around us that we are not smart enough to I'm gonna say smart enough. We don't get the support to go into and be there. Like even the Model T Ford, a black man, I can't think of his name right now, invented that chain lane, the chain line, where your assembly line, where everything go down the assembly line. That was invented by a black man, but Henry Ford took it. Sports, we dominate. Land, we don't have. Water, we don't have. Military was the only way a lot of black people could get their foot on the ground and make a dent in their families. That was the only way. We don't really hire anybody. When I say commerce, we have a few black banks, but I'm gonna tell you something. I joined a black bank last year, and I put $50 in that bank to open my account, and after that, I was gonna spend some more money there. Within 2-3 months, them fuckers done took my $50. What the hell they do with my money? Why are you charging me to hold my money? That was some bullshit. So I said, fuck that. I'm gonna just tell you like because it's always a gimmick somewhere. Even our own people screw us. I ain't seen that $50 since, by the way. What if I'd put more in there and just left it there? Next thing I know, I'll be getting a damn negative account saying you owe us $36 because your account's in zero. We don't have the legal defense that we need here in America. The legal defense is not there to defend us. It is there to defend them, to make sure they don't get in trouble. We don't have houses to sell the way they do. Let's say if you wanted to open a record company, you can open your record company. You can make as many records as you want, but you are not going to get your record played on the radio unless you talk to Mr. Billy. And Mr. Billy is the only one that'll allow you to get into that market. So every one of these high-paid rappers, every one of these high-paid sport people in football, baseball, basketball, whatever you want to call it, they would not be where they are if a white man did not put them there. You know it, and I know it. If a white man was not there to put them there, they would not be there, especially in the entertainment field. The first one that we know about is Sammy Davis Jr., Sammy Davis Jr. But that is how we are not free, because we can't create something and move it to the top of the line without adding a white person to it. Many black people that open businesses, they bring in a white person as the face of the company, because if most people find out a black person on it, they ain't buying shit from you. They're gonna find a way to condemn your business or get something for free or negotiate a cheaper price, like you ain't got nothing to pay for. Even the simplest things, our own people want to make it difficult for us to run our businesses to a profit level. And you cannot make a profit giving away shit. You can't do it. You know, I can understand you want to open up your business. You're going to have a free day. You might want to give away so many X hamburgers if you're doing a restaurant, or so many t-shirts if you're doing an apparel store. But the bottom line is, everything you give away is an expense for you to pay for. Money out of your pocket, money that's not there to feed your family, because you're feeding the ungrateful public on your product. How can we control anything in America when we don't really have anything to control other than ourselves? Out of all the money black people spend every week, we don't have a single community in this country. We got people saying that we're building these communities, but what happens after we go out and we come up with enough money to build 20 homes in a subdivision out in the middle of nowhere? Now we want to put all blacks in there, but we're not going to do it because we don't discriminate. We're so honest and quick to say we're not the ones, we're not going to discriminate. So anybody, whoever qualified, that's who we're going to put in there. And then we're going to say to ourselves internally in our office meeting, well, you know, we got a black one applying right here, and we got a white one applying right here. Who do you think going to pay their rent the quickest? It's that stigma on ourselves, even though you may think, or you may say that the white folks gonna pay, them the motherfuckers that's gonna screw you. Put that black person in there and take a chance. You gotta take a chance. You gotta, because if you're not taking that chance, then you're really not doing your company service. You're not doing the community a service that you're trying to build. It's not working. Nobody in this country that's black, descendant of slave, has anything that can value us as a community. Nobody. I mean, everybody think that all black people are on the east side, and there's a reason for that, by the way, because the sun rises in the east, so that makes it best for slave owners to get their slaves in the field quicker, because they're on the side of the sun, and that's what they do. They put all the black people in every major city on the east side. On the east side. So they can get up earlier than anybody else. And the most wealthiest people in a city are so far on the west side, it is not funny. Look at every major city, since we already know where the poor people live, or the black people is on the east side. Look and see where the rich people live. Guarantee you, West Side. The late getter uppers. They took the land. Now they want to give it back through reparations. Now we are not the people for reparations. You can't reparate what you took from me. You can only give me my stuff back. That's all you can do. You can't give me my stuff back as reparations. Reparations is in addition to what you owe me, not what you took from me. And if black people learn their history, this country will change quickly. This country will change so damn fast. All we need to do is study our history. You know, when a Chinese come to America, they come with their religion, everything else, and they bring it with them. They open up their communities here with all those culture traits. When we came as descendants of slaves or slaves at the time, we came over here with all our traits and values and beliefs. But every single belief and value and trait we had when we got off that ship and got sold on the auction block, we lost it. We didn't lose it. It was taken from us. It was forbidden to speak your language. It was forbidden to practice your religion. It was forbidden to do any ritual that you did in your motherland, and you just got here 2 months ago. You cannot do what you did over there. You can only learn what we know. And then you have the audacity to call the Indians savage because they're not like you. So now everybody white are savages. How can you be so cruel to wipe out an entire population of Indians? Millions of Indians died at the hands of white people. Now, black people did everything that they had to do because they had to do it. In certain cases, you want to hear people say black people owned slaves. Of course they did. I read in the book Indian Giver that if you were black and you were somewhat somebody, a Moor or something, and you had the opportunity, you had the resources to own slaves, and you refused to own slaves, you could not go to the seed store and get seed. You could not go to the bank and get a loan. You couldn't do anything that normal business people could do, only because everybody white knew you didn't own slaves. So if you want to have access to all this stuff, get you some slaves. If you put them slaves out there, now you need any money, you need any seeds, you need some fertilizer, come and get it. That made it easy for the black person that had money and land. If you owned slaves, you could do what you needed to do. But if you didn't own slaves, but you had all the land and you wanted to hire somebody, they would ostracize you because you got the resources and didn't want to act like them. If we can stop trying to be like the white man, I think we can get somewhere with our people. If we can look back over the years that we've had here in America and think about all the things we've tried to do to fit in here in America, we'd be embarrassed to say it. Because we have bent over backwards to get along with these people. And no matter what you have done, you still a nigga. I don't give a damn what you've done, you still. It does not change. You are still So, because we have tried and tried and tried and tried again to be part of this country, to be a represented entity of this country. But in return, we have been ignored. And not only have we been ignored, if we tried to move forward, we were slapped back down to the beginning so nobody could recognize you. There is no way as many black men and women shot by the police that can happen and nobody think there's a damn problem here. There's a problem here when as many black folks get shot in this country as they do. Why are we shooting all these black people? Why are all these black people in prison for one joint, 10 years? Why? We are the most senseless and ignorant ass people on the fucking planet to do stuff like that. When you find out that you have wronged an individual, which a man is on death row right now, that's innocent, and it's been proven innocent, and the governor won't damn pardon. We're not free. You've been called an uppity nigga before. That's the problem. No matter what you do, you can play yourself down, dumb yourself down to be part of the society, or you can tighten your asshole and walk straight up like you part of the society. You still ain't part of the society. They looking at you saying, what kind of Negro is that? You can drive a nice car. First thing they want to know is that your car? Do you have is it in your name? Let me see your registration. And you ain't did shit for them to see your registration, but they want to know why is that black man driving this $100,000 car? That's all. And if they find out that you're driving this $100,000 car and they pull you over, they don't give a damn about you now because you're doing better than they are. So now they're going to bring your ass down. You going to jail. Look how they pulled that, was it a football player, out of his car down in Miami, Florida about 2 weeks ago. Some bullshit, over some bullshit. He didn't break the law. Why is it that so many of us get caught up in that bullshit? You know, it's not right. It is not right what they do to our people here in America. And if we don't start to create our own community, and it doesn't have to be a community where all of us live next door to each other. We can create a community here online. That's what I've tried to do, and I'm still trying. Try and try and try again for the next 20 years if that's what it takes. No matter what, this is what it takes. The platform is available for you to be here. I'm going to continue to do what I do to spread my knowledge for the benefit of you, where you can walk in society as an educated black man. I know you might have your degrees, but there's some underlying things going on here that we are being misdirected on. For instance, Sean Puffy Combs. Don't pay attention to that bullshit. Look at what the people are doing in Washington, D.C. Look at the rules the laws that they're passing. Look at how many schools they're trying to shut down. Look at how they're trying to put the voucher system in place for Pastor Hagee, who's a friend of the governor of Texas. And Pastor Hagee got over 2,000 people in his church going to school age kids. over 2,000 people. Now, what if the voucher system didn't get a pass and each of those 2,000 kids got their vouchers, which means the state is going to pay Hagee per kid, whatever it costs to educate a kid for a year, which is about $15,000 to $21,000 per year. So what does that mean if he got over 2,000? That means that the state will be paying him $4-5 million a year for all those children to go to school. Probably way more than that. I'm just being conservative because I didn't do the math. That is a big deal. There's three things people got to consider when it comes to this voucher system for school thing. You got to look at four things. You got to look at private schools. You got to look at charter schools. You got to look at public schools. And you got to look at voucher schools. 4 different things. What will our in the know people do when you don't know that these 4 things can make or break your children? Parents, you need to know that you got all these choices on the ballot this year. And if you pick the wrong one, you're going to suffer. Because if you do that voucher system, for instance, first of all, the voucher system is not going to pay the complete tuition for that child for that year. So where do you think that money is going to come from? It's going to come from out of your pocket. That's for the voucher system. If you ain't got money, you better not vote for it, because your ass going to go broker paying them vouchers. And if you don't pay, then you're going to get charged by the state and brought to court because you ain't educating your child. Then you got the public school system, the ones with the SROs, the security resource officers that's beating the shit out of our kids. In the public school system, out of every 10 kids that create an issue at the school, let's say 5 black and 5 white, 5 black suspended, 5 white on detention. They do not administer punishment fairly in public schools. You got too many black kids going to alternative schools and too many black kids getting expelled from school for the same thing they send the white boy to counseling for. But the black kid got to go home. That's public school. Private school admits who the hell they want to admit. If they don't want to admit you, ain't shit you can do about it. So now you got to go somewhere else. They don't want you there. You ain't got it. They won't let it. Ain't nothing you can do to get your kid there if they don't want you there. It's so sad that this is the level of disrespect that we're going into in 2024. How can we do the things we do and make this country survive and get better than it is now? We damn sure can't get better fucking shit up every time we turn around, and that's what we've been doing since Barack Obama put in Obamacare and gay lesbian rights. Then Donald Trump came after Barack Obama, and he came in for a specific purpose. And that purpose was to undo everything that Barack Obama did. The Obamacare has been proposed nearly 800 times since it was made into law. Ain't not one of those times. That's all the Congress now, the Senate, spending all this time on shit that they know they can't change. So now they couldn't change Obamacare. So let's go after another major thing. Let's go after child protective rights, women protective rights, Roe versus Wade, and let's overturn the abortion ban. Somehow, this country is going to have to come to a better understanding of who the people are here, and they will. I guarantee you, this country will regret not honoring the contribution our people made to this country. The black people, the African Americans, the Moors. Those are the people who made this country. And by the way, there are 5 to 6 names given by the white man to us as a people. Black, African American, colored, Negro, nigger, and then a few more on top of that. Those are man-given names. So none of those names can constitutionally or spiritually be attached to the original Jew, the original Hebrew. Nothing can change that. And that's what they don't want you to know, that you are the original people. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Be unapologetically who you are. When you went there, you were looking for a job. So if you have to leave, you can leave looking for a job. Don't allow anybody or anything to play you less than who you are, and do not do it yourself. Do not act as though you are less than anybody. Don't play yourself down because you're black. Oh, I'm black. I gotta be humble in my job. If you know the definition of humble, you would never say it again. You would never use the word again if you knew the definition of the word humble. And I'm gonna leave you with that. Look up the word humble and see if you will use it again, and let me know. Recap for today: we ain't never gonna be free until we come together and make ourselves free. We'll never be free until we own our own farmland. We will never be free until we own our own city blocks. We will never be free until we own our own health care system. We will never be free until we own our own education system. We will never be free until we own our commerce system. All those things, we don't have a damn foot in the door. We don't have shit to do with it. We are just users of what the white folks done created and offered us an opportunity to use. What the hell, we gotta use it. We gotta use their shit right now, because we have failed to do what's necessary to make ourselves who we need to be. We don't have anything that we can say it's ours. Nothing. And then America, they continue to push these damn lies. Like, how can you name this building the African American National Museum? You know damn well ain't nobody no damn African American. You know this as a nation, you know it. But you still want to push that shit down our throat and think we supposed to walk around like it's true. And then you put the word slave in the 14th Amendment, but nowhere in the Constitution do you mention African American or black. You don't even mention the word Moor. You don't do it because you want us to disappear or be silent and invisible, but keep serving your ass. But you can we make the money, but you take it right back. because we give it to you like fools. How many times have you seen these dumbass rappers walk around with them big ass shit on their damn neck? 30,000 here, $25,000 watch. That's Floyd Mayweather with his dumb ass. Fucker can't even read. Got so much damn money, he just doing dumb shit with it. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live on this Wednesday afternoon, bringing you the news from a Black perspective. We don't own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. Your patronage, your attendance is so greatly appreciated, and I want to thank you for being a part of the show today. I'm going to go about one another minute and let the music play. Have a nice day.